What's up, everybody? Welcome to another weekly Q&A. How's everybody's week been so far? Sebastian's got Red 5 standing by. He's here to help. He's the best, honestly. So this is the dude that's behind support and Neural DSP. He's the one who helps all of you guys with any of your issues. He's awesome. Michael D says, so far so good, but so cold. 20 degrees Fahrenheit here on the East Coast. Dude, I do not envy you. I spent the weekend in Vegas, and it was great. It was great. So yeah, not bragging or anything, but like, you know, it is what it is. Let's see, Carl, what's up, my dude? Matthias, how's it going? Insight TV, hello. Shreddy, hey. Vegas was awesome. Vegas was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It's a crazy place. It's so weird. Let's see. Insight TV. Steven, have you listened to my productions, which I sent 2 weeks ago? Yeah. I've given them a listen. I've been slammed with stuff, especially the Vegas trip. But I'll contact you on the side. I'll let you know what's up. So yeah. So how has everybody's week been going? Let's see. And so as you can see from the thumbnail this week, I kind of wanted to go into iLoks and how to use them, and kind of just, you know, address some things that people have been having issues with. So Connor, what's up, dude? Super solid week, he says. I mean, you know, you're with me in Vegas, so obviously you had a solid week. Matthias says, here in Vienna, 3 to 7 degrees Celsius and lots of rain. It sucks. Dude, that's cold as fuck. I don't know the actual conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but I know that 3 to 7 is like super fucking cold. So yeah, dude, I'm so sorry. That's rough. Yeah, so I kind of wanted to go over iLok stuff. If you guys have any particular questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will address them. And then I'll kind of run through how to activate demos and stuff like that, because we're actually going to be upgrading the plugins very, very soon to an auto demo feature, which you won't have to use any like an activation code. You won't have to use an activation code for the upcoming ones. Let's see. Okay, so Michael D asks, are the Neural plugins compatible with Mac OS Catalina yet? Sebastian, if you're in the comment section, you're the guy who will know this. But so I don't know just yet. I haven't heard any updates on that in particular. Okay, yeah, so 0 degrees, 32. Yeah, okay, so Michael D says 0 degrees Celsius equals 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, because that's absolute zero. That's why the metric system makes way more sense. Great. Okay, so Sebastian answered the question directly and just said that our current versions run fine with Catalina. So we're good. I'll go ahead and unpin that from the Facebook group so nobody gets confused. So, okay, so yeah, so Paulo Gomez and who else? Somebody else. Kevin DeVos both asked any Black Friday deals any Black Friday deals, basically. And Michael D answered, Black Friday, maybe. So yeah, I can say that there is a Black Friday sale coming up, and you guys are going to be fucking stoked with it. That's all I can say for right now. They'll be putting out an official announcement very, very soon. But you guys are going to get some really sweet deals, and I'm very, very excited for them. So Sebastian says that so Michael D is asking, okay, so I would just have to update them in regards to the macOS Catalina version. Our current versions are working with Catalina, so you wouldn't have to update the plugins. Just make sure that you're on the most current versions that we have on the website. So if you go to like the downloads page and you notice that the version is higher than what you have currently, go ahead and update it, and that should work out just fine. Yeah, so we are actually getting some updates on the other plugins as well. Like I'm pretty stoked on the list that they handed me. I don't know if I can really talk about it too much, but yeah. Yeah, so that's working just fine. Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, so Insight TV says he has no issues with iLok. What's wrong with that? And it's not necessarily like, I feel like people get confused with the iLok, like, and it's definitely not any fault of theirs. Like, you know, it's just a couple of additional steps to put into the process. But some people just want to be able to just download it, open it, and then go. So I get that. Some people don't want to have to pay for the iLok if they're not mixing. So like if I was just a guitar player and just wanted to have the plugin standalone so that way I could just play either a live gig or something like that, why would I then need a dongle to also do that? So like buying the dongle on top of that is frustrating for some people. So I get that, you know, like I'm kind of used to the technology at this point, so I get how it works, but I understand the hassle of it, especially when you just want to buy your plugin and then just go. Like I get it. You know, I do also want to address like the reasons. Yeah, Carl says he has no iLok problems there too. Yeah, no, absolutely. Some people do, and this is mainly addressed to the people who do have issues. You know, like I said, it's like I don't have any problems with iLok, and I understand the reasoning behind it, which is basically intellectual property protection. Like, so that way it is a step that is taken to discourage piracy, basically. Oh yeah, so Michael D says that he doesn't have any problems either unless his internet's down and he can't connect to the iLok cloud since his licenses are in there. Yeah, no, there's yeah. Okay. Oh, cool. So, okay, quick side note, Lear, Lear's a longtime commenter, says, hey, Steve, hope everyone is doing well. Can't stay for long, but a quick update. I stacked his physical B7K Ultra pedal with the Parallax, and it works really well. And he uses the pedal to EQ his bass. So that's fantastic. Yeah, so Sebastian, back to the main point of today. The most frequently asked questions are about iLok. So, you know, so basically this is just in hopes that I can kind of quell anybody's problems with it. But back to what I was talking about is that the reason why we use iLok is just to prevent piracy. You know, so like we want to protect our intellectual property. We want to protect our plugins and make sure that the people who are buying them are people who legitimately want to support the company and want to really kind of make sure that they have the best product possible. So it's kind of a barrier to entry because, you know, these plugins do cost money. They cost money, they cost effort, they cost manpower, they cost so many hours to develop and to create that it wouldn't be fair to just, give it out for free. I mean, obviously there are giveaways and stuff like that and special promotions, but like, people shouldn't have to, it's like we shouldn't have to starve because people want our plugins for free. So it's mainly just to protect our company. It's mainly to protect our intellectual property. So there's this sort of barrier to entry, right? But the thing is that it's not so, like, I kind of want to demystify a couple of things. Demystify a couple of things that are problematic for some people. And so the first thing is why we use it. And again, like, it's to protect the company, it's to protect our assets, it's to protect our intellectual property. Lear says he has no problems with iLok, for sure. Yeah. And then, okay. Oh yeah, so Lear followed up with his previous comment on using the B7K Ultra with the parallax, and he used the parallax to boost the mids and add a bit of growl. Dude, that sounds killer, man. I'd love to hear a clip of that. So when you get the chance, go ahead and if you put anything up on Instagram, just tag me. Let's see. So Brandon, Brandon's partially, you're correct. He's guessing. So he says, I'm guessing it's because they want to know if you've used the demo before, so you can't just keep using it, and that's part of it. So like we have demo licenses that expire after 14 days, so that way we know that it's like it's a matter of good trust and good faith with the clients and the customers. So. Let's see. Cool. Okay, so I kind of wanted to go through some functions of the system. So let's go ahead and clear off my desktop for a moment. Get this to my page here. Okay, so I already went ahead and downloaded the Archetype Nolly trial version. So let's go ahead and open this up. So it says activation is required. So let's go ahead and just try. So I then have to put in my iLok account. And actually, let me take a step back and address something that I think is also very important. You don't have to have an iLok dongle to have an iLok account. So if you get the plugin and you're like, okay, well, I have to have this iLok thing. Now I got to buy this iLok 2 or 3 or whatever. You don't have to do that. So I'll show you real quick. So manly man, yeah, it's ridiculous, but all right. So I can actually select my location that I want to put this license. So I'm actually going to put it on my desktop, which is my current computer that I'm streaming from. So we're just going to put it in here. So next. Successful activation. Continue. So, oops, there we are. Now it's open. Now here's the thing. So here's my activation. This is my demo. Yeah, you can see here like the trial, demo, type, deposited date. So this is going to expire 11/27/2019. The product, Neural DSP. Now, I have one of 3 activations used so far. But what if I want to then, put it on my iLok, or I want to put it on a separate laptop or something like that? I can go to Super Manly Man, Archetype Nolly, trial demo. So if you see here activations, you have one of 3 activations used. So if I want to, I can then take this, click and drag it over to either my laptop or my iLok. Say I wanted to do that. So confirm activation. Okay. So that's going to run through the process. Successful activation. Sweet. iLok. Now you'll see Archetype Nolly in the current licenses available on my iLok. So this is, so even on the demo version, you have 3 activations available to you. So you can have one, like I have one on my desktop, I can have one on my laptop, I can have one on my dongle. So those are all available to you. Now, say you run out of licenses, you have like 5 different devices for some reason, you know, then you can just go in here, deactivate the license from any one of your devices. And then that's going to go back up to your master account. So that's going to go through, deactivated, go back to my main profile. And the trial demo goes back to one of 3 activations used. So I can go back to my desktop and then deactivate this and then keep going. So from there, we can kind of continue on with a couple of the other features of iLok as far as like license transfers and stuff like that. So say I have, let's see, what do I have? Equivocate. Let's see, it doesn't matter. So saturation knob, which is by SoftTube, and I want to transfer the license to somebody else. You go up here to this little icon here, it'll open up, says transfer licenses to another account. So you will have to re-enter your password, and then from there, it's a $25 fee to transfer the license. So you don't really have to talk to support or anything like that. You don't have to talk to support or anything like that. The only time you would ever actually really have to talk to support about licenses is say, so Plugin Alley says you need more licenses. You're a modest man. You know, I do my best, you know. But okay, so for instance, anytime you would want to talk to support is say my laptop crashes. All my licenses were put on. Yeah, I'm saying license a lot. So if you're like, say like my laptop crashed and I have all of my licenses on my laptop, you go over here, deactivate, you actually have to then talk to the publisher, which is Neural DSP, about a reset. So that's something that you would contact support about. Yeah, so that's I think that's pretty much it, unless I missed anything. So activation, deactivation, it's pretty easy. From your master account, you can just go all licenses or available and then click and drag to the device that you want to activate it on. And then from there, you can go to your device and then deactivate or transfer. And then that's pretty much it. So again, you know, an important issue that I'm finding some people have is that they don't want to buy the iLok dongle, but you don't have to. Yeah, so Sebastian says you can deactivate licenses as well. Absolutely. So from there, I can come in here and deactivate from my desktop. So successful deactivation. And again, that goes to my master account. So Plugin Alley says also for multiple licenses to one person, the max amount iLok charges is $50. Okay. Oh, okay. If you're I'm guessing that's if you're changing multiple licenses to one person doing the transfer, then the maximum charge is 50. So okay, cool. Yeah, so that's an important point that's being updated in our plugins right now. Sebastian says that the archetype Nolly currently features auto demo, which is that I don't have to have an activation code. Previous plugins don't have that yet, but they are being updated to this current auto demo system. Adnan, what's up, dude? How you doing? All right, so I think, unless I missed anything, that's pretty much it. So yes, Sebastian's echoing what I said. So auto demo will be available on our other products during the next couple of weeks. So we're getting an update for a bunch of our plugins very, very soon. Yeah. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I feel like everybody's been real quiet. And that's pretty much all I had, really. Like the iLok system is not super complicated. Tyler Britton, what's up, my dude? How you doing? When are you gonna get me that song so I could put it on the intro to these things? Tim Gorman, what's up, dude? He says he just got here, LOL. Let's see. Plugin Alley says, when Neural going to do bundle? I mean, we'll see pretty soon, I think. We got a Black Friday sale coming up that's going to be pretty awesome. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that's like. Let's see. Yeah, Tim, Tim and Tyler, if you just got here, I went through the iLok system for the past 25 minutes, which is pretty dope. A lot of fun. Love the iLoks. They're great. Actually, they're not bad. Cool. So if anybody has any additional questions about those, put them in the chat. I know Sebastian will be able to help. I will be able to help. What happened? I heard a noise. My system beeped at me. Oh, okay. Cancel. Since I deactivated the archetype Nolly on my desktop, it started complaining to me. Oh. So Matthias says, what's your take on music theory and how deep do I go into the rabbit hole? Okay, so quickly before we get to that, Sebastian added one more thing about the codes, is you can only redeem them once, and that sets all the activations to your iLok account. So if anybody complains about not being able to use the activation codes multiple times, it's because it's already been used, and those activations, those licenses are already in your iLok account. So then you get the licenses in your iLok license manager, and then you could just toss the activation code because that's now in your account. It's done. Okay, so back to Matthias's question. So what's my take on music theory? How deep do I go into the rabbit hole? That's a good question. I like detail. I like minutia. I like finding and figuring out how things work. So I have in the past gone pretty deep into music theory. I don't think that I'm an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like music theory. I tend to not get super hung up by it though, I suppose, because I feel like it's as with most music, it's about experimentation and finding out when you want to color within the lines and out of the lines. And especially with a style like metal, it encourages that the more progressive sort of things, like the chromaticisms and more interesting movements and scales, rather than just kind of sitting with something that's kind of, boring and basic. But yeah, no, I've taken several years of music theory training courses, and I've kind of kept up my own personal interest with it, but I don't get into it quite as much as I used to anymore. Because when you take theory courses, you tend to learn a lot of not super applicable things. Like in the course of writing lots and lots of metal, I've never had to know what a Neapolitan third is, and that's a very specific movement in choral writing. So there's a lot of knowledge that's just kind of been shifted to the background while I kind of hold on to the main things that actually, help in my particular path. So yeah, so I love music theory. I advise people generally to not let it kind of bog you down in specific movements though, or ideas. So that's generally my take on that. So Felix asks, with the current lineup, all the standard amps are pretty much covered. Marshall, 5150, Fender Clean, etc. Are there any plans for amps like Diesel, KSR, Purple Nightmare, i.e. various boutique options? We'll see, man. I can't really speak to specifics at this point. Yeah, we'll see what we got. I mean, I trust Neural to come out with things that are not carbon copies of each other. So they're not going to have products that overlap with each other a lot. So I definitely I trust them to come out with some pretty cool stuff in the future. So Michael D says, I've learned the Ionian and Dorian modes, and that's about it with theory for me. I'll go further into it in the future. Oh, for sure. And then Sebastian says, what about Phrygian, the best one? Dude, yeah. So if you want something that like sounds like rockin', Phrygian and Phrygian Dominant are probably some of my favorites, because Phrygian is that like Mastodon sort of thing. Like Mastodon uses Phrygian a lot, and then Phrygian Dominant is sort of the Lamb of God scales, like that harmonic minor with a twist, and it's pretty dope. Fire Away Production says, can you run a sale on the Pliny plugin this weekend? Yeah, wait for the Black Friday, dude. Yeah, Sebastian, backs me up on this. Wait for Black Friday. You will like it far more than anything we could do this weekend. So, all right. More questions. What do we got? Let's see. Yeah, so Matthias says, theory can be quite overwhelming sometimes. I wish I had more time to focus on learning stuff. Harmonic minor is pretty dope, though. I agree. Gosh, what I think it was like Lamb of God and God Forbid, and maybe one or two other bands that I'm not thinking about right at this second that really got me into like the harmonic minor, Phrygian Dominant stuff. But yeah, like it just like it tickles my ear in a beautiful way, so, yeah. So Felix says, and fair enough, and thanks, and certainly not a critique of the current lineup. We need the standards too. BTW on the theme of music theory, integral serialist metal could be a thing. Oh, okay. Integral serialist metal. Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So Tim Gorman kind of chimes in with check out Frank Gambale for a great video on modes, very well explained, or even Joe Satriani. Yeah, dude, those guys are killer. Frank Gambale has like some really awesome like picking techniques too. Like his economy style picking is just buttery and like very, very consistent, which I appreciate, because there's a lot of people who do like sweep picking, but he does like some really great sequencing with sweep picking. Yeah, it's fucking killer. All right, I like the theory questions too. Those are good. Oh, good lord. So yeah, Tim's mentioning Frank Gambale is insane. Yeah, I got to see him play at the NAMM show. I think 2 years ago. He was on one of his. He was on one of his demoing a product of his. Sebastian. Okay, yeah. So he says maybe if you purchase a demo on our website, I mean, this video will be here forever. Sure. Why the hell not? I will do the things that will help the people. Let's see, am I logged in? Yes, I'm logged in. Great. What's in my cart? And am I still on? Yep, I'm still on that. Oops. All right, let's see where. Okay. All right. Michael D says he loves sweeping, but string skipping is what I really try to work on. Agreed. I actually like alternate picking and string skipping a little bit better than sweeping personally, but that's only just because it kind of falls within my style a little bit more. Plus, it's a lot of work to getting that sweeping up to speed. So, products. Let's go ahead and try something else. Okay, so you know what? Let's just do this. I need to do this. I need to deactivate. Let's go ahead and deactivate my archetype Pliny. Successful deactivation. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, Archetype Pliny. Let's go ahead and learn more about Archetype Pliny. Let's do a 14-day trial. Let's make sure that everything is all good to go. Yep, okay, great, excellent. Okay, so €0. Let's go ahead and check out Stephen Ward. Oop, that's sensitive information. All right. Fuck's sake. All right, please read. Read and agree to that stuff. Okay, place order. Let's see. Marcus says use hybrid to string pick 10 times easier. Yeah, to string skip rather. Yeah, no, I actually do a lot of hybrid picking myself. It's actually a lot of fun. I first really started like hearing about that when I was working on learning some Mastodon vids. All right, so my order is now complete. All right, this is safe to show, so let's go ahead and go back to this. Oops. All right. So I got the Pliny trial. Pliny trial? Yeah, okay. So I'm sleepy. Very, very sleepy. Okay. Let's go back up. Mick Devil asks, have you guys got a vid on setting up for recording on Logic? I'd love a baseline of being set up with EQ, etc. So I don't have anything for Logic. I actually don't own Logic myself. I use Pro Tools and Cubase currently. I don't think it would be too hard to do that, but I would have to find somebody who's willing to let me use Logic to set that up. But that's a very, very specific thing. I could probably even put like a minute clip on like Instagram or something like that of doing it. Because generally, most of these DAWs kind of function similarly, where they have like an in-out or input-output kind of system where you have where your audio interface basically tells your microphone input or your instrument input to go route into the tracks and then record, then outputs and stuff like that. So I know that there's definitely a lot of videos on Logic out there right now. So if I don't get to it very soon, I know that if you Google or YouTube search recording on Logic or setting up a track in Logic, I know that you'll be able to find something like that for sure. Not that I don't want to do that, but I have other things that I'm working on currently, so I wouldn't be able to get to it super fast for you. Let's see. Zach Manzano says, part of me was hoping there was nonchalantly going to be a new product in the product grid. Well, at some point, you know, we'll get there. Let's see. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and open this. Let's just take this and drag it. Whoops. Copy to desktop. It's not going to work. Perfect. Now, I think I have Archetype Pliny 2.0. But, so, okay, let's go ahead and try this. So now we do all of the things. Do the install. Don't know was. Finish. All right. So let's go ahead and open up the archetype Pliny. Let's go back to archetype Pliny license key. So again, this is only going to be valid for a little bit longer, but so I'm going to take my archetype Pliny trial license key. Let's go ahead and activate that and then copy and paste. Next. And then again, I'm going to put in my iLok account. And then next. And then I'll go ahead and put this on my desktop again. So let's go ahead and put that next. Continue. Boom, there it is. So that's going to be on my desktop now. And then again, 1 of 3 activations used. Same kind of thing. So yeah, so you'll get you'll get the activation key. Once you use this activation, like the license key, it's gone. Like this can no longer be used after it's been used the first time. So that then transfers the licenses to your iLok account, and then you're good with that. And so I can just delete this. And I think that's pretty much it. It's all pretty straightforward after that. Tim says, balls, I have to go. I have company showing up. Dude, Tim, thank you so much for coming out. I love that you get to come in and hang out with us. So cool. Sorry, the time spent in Vegas has really messed up my throat, so I'm drinking a lot of water right now, just trying to conserve my voice as much as I can. Tim Gordon, cheers from Canada. See you later, man. Awesome. Well, cheers from Los Angeles, brother. Talk to you soon. All right. So let's see if I missed any questions back here. Let's see. I think that's it. Felix, it's my pleasure. Thanks for asking the questions. Honestly, this would be a really awkward time if people didn't actually ask me questions. So I appreciate you guys coming in here and hanging out with me. It's awesome. All right, Rain Sweat, cheers. Unless he's saying cheers to Tim, in which case I'm glad that you're still here. So we got about 20 minutes left, so if you have any additional questions, I am down to answer whatever you got. Let's see, where am I at? Let's get me back up here. Chris G asks, can a product deactivate on its own? I downloaded the NTS and Nameless demos, and the same day I bought the Nameless, NTS demo activation code was gone from iLok, and I get the activate window. Okay, sorry, this is kind of same day I bought the Nameless. Downloaded. NTS demo activation code was gone from iLok. Huh. Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with Sebastian that a product can't deactivate on its own. But the activation code was gone from iLok. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe if you got signed out of your account, that might be it. I don't know. I would have to see. I would have to see exactly what happened. Yeah. Sebastian's got it covered. Honestly, like he's the best. Tyler asks, how was the summit? It was fantastic. I had just an amazing time. Yeah, I got to talk to a lot of people, got to hang out with some really cool producers and attendees. Like, I mean, honestly, it's one of the best communities that I feel I get to be a part of. I mean, aside from you guys, of course, you guys are the best. You know, the the barrier to entry to go to the summit kind of keeps the quality of attendee at a certain level, I feel. Like, the people that go to the summit are willing to drop, like, you know, some serious money to go to Vegas and hang out for 4 days. So, like, only the people who are super serious and motivated and driven are going to go. So I really feel kind of at home with these people because they are as driven and motivated as I am. So we get along super, super well. So Shred asks, did you already choose the band for the next tone dialing video? I have a couple in mind, and it really depends on which way I want to go, because I've been doing a lot of metal videos recently, and I've had like a subset of people asking for more low gain bands and artists, which I'm considering. I do have like a full list of artists that have been submitted so far, but like I think probably one of the most requested artists so far has been Gojira. I think that's top of my list. So I really want to do that video, but I also want to do it justice. So like if I put it off, it's only because I want to spend more time researching and dialing in like the exact right tones. So that's a contender for sure. Somebody who just put up Brian May just recently, John Mayer, and like a couple of other musicians. So I'm thinking maybe something like along those lines, but we'll see. I actually have to get through working on the current vid, which I'm in the middle of filming actually, so you can see the camera up and ready to go next to me. So I'm filming that, gonna edit that today, and then that'll come out on Friday, which will be it'll be the part 2 of the compression series. I don't feel bad about letting you guys know what it is. So just getting more into the nitty gritty of like different compressors and why you would use them in different cases. So we'll see. Good question, Shred. So let's see if I missed any questions in here. I have 15 minutes to fill. So, what is on your guys' wish list for this year's Black Friday? I'm kind of curious, like, you know, what, like, if you guys are looking at getting some of the plugins, I'm curious what you guys are interested in purchasing. Like I said, we're gonna have some pretty sweet deals. But I'm wondering what you guys are going to be getting and what you're going to be using it for. So, let's see. I like having people chatting, talking in the chat with Sebastian. That makes my life easier, because then I don't have to not answer questions. Awesome. So Carl says Nolly maybe. Michael D says the Nolly, Parallax, and Dark Glass. Dude, yeah, filling out the bass plugins. And it's cool because the Parallax and the Dark Glass, like I've used both of them pretty extensively now, and they are very different beasts. If you get the Parallax and the Dark Glass, they do give you like a pretty wide range of tones that you can get together. What I find myself doing whenever I want to use the Dark Glass, so like I put up a video like at the start when I first started working with Neural. I did a video on how to mix split tracks on bass, like having like the high distortions, and then like you have a clean compressed low end, so that way it's more consistent tone. But I find that I actually use I use the bass band in the Parallax for my compression settings, and then Dark Glass for my upper end mid end distortion. So yeah, having them both is really useful. Shred says the NTS and Nolly. Yeah, dude, those ones are fucking killer. NTS is actually a personal favorite of mine because it has like this kind of more silky gain structure, sort of like a mesa, I guess. I don't know. Like that's kind of what I found it to be like useful for in that Lamb of God video that I just put out. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, Shred added. Oh yeah, and Parallax. Debbie says he trialed the Nolly and it's unreal. Yeah, the Nolly and the Dark Glass are so absolutely good. Chris G says he went with the Nameless, but he's definitely getting the NTS for Black Friday. Ola's Motu convinced. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Ola does some killer videos. I'm not gonna lie. He does some really killer videos. Matthias says he's down to get the Pliny and maybe Nameless. Dude, if you haven't gotten the Nameless yet, it's it's in my opinion one of the best. Like it's the OG one, but like it has a special place in my heart. Like recently I've been going back and using it more, and it's like it just hits so hard, and can be used in so many different applications. So yeah, I would definitely, I'd recommend that one for sure. Michael D says, even though I don't play much bass, I'd love to see how the Dark Glass and Parallax work with guitar. For sure, man. Yeah. I've heard people using the Parallax for guitar tones. I'm actually kind of curious to work with that myself. Let's see. Adnan says, the NTS. I'd love to get it. That's the only one I don't have. It's terrific, but I just couldn't find much use of that exact tone for my music. Yet, is there a way I could try to demo it again? Okay, so if you want to get a trial extension, this is actually an important part that I missed on recently, or earlier. Yeah, Sebastian says you love NTS, Stephen. I do. I really do. It sounds so good. So Adnan says, if you want a trial extension on the NTS, contact support@neuraldsp.com and they'll be able to hash that out with you. So, yeah, the Nameless is so good. Oh my gosh, my throat is so jacked from this weekend. And then I have like more filming to do after I'm done with this too. So it's going to be a long day for me. Yep. Sebastian just echoed support@neuraldsp.com for trial extensions, and you'll sort it out there. Okay, so Adnan says, asks, what's your favorite of the Neural plugins? That's a hard question to answer because, and it's not because I try to be evasive or that I want to show favor for one or the other. It's mainly that these particular plugins are great for their own specific uses. That's kind of, it plays into something I was talking about earlier, where these plugins have very little overlap. They all have their very Sebastian says his favorite is the Pliny. Yeah, so like as a mix engineer, as well as like a guitar player, and I play a lot of different styles, and I like being able to play different styles. There are very specific uses for each individual plugin that kind of brings out like the best tone. Like you can set up a mix and you can run through like 7 different plugins that they all sound really good on their own, but only one of them is really going to fit with the style and the mix. I did one just recently for a friend's band, and I went through. I tried the Nameless, I tried the NTS, the Pliny, the Nolly, and what I ended up actually really liking was what did I do? I think it was NTS into a Nolly impulse response, if I remember correctly. And it sounded killer, but I wasn't able to get it just by using the original plugins. So like it's very, very specific to the style and the mix. So in a roundabout way, I love all of them. If I was to have to choose one for my own playing, however, that's a different question. maybe the Pliny or the Nameless. I don't know. The Pliny is fairly dark, and I like brighter tones. And I've been having a lot of fun with the Nolly, because it's a little bit brighter on some places. Because that third amp in the Nolly is one of the best like rhythm amps. For leads, the Pliny is completely unmatched. And as far as just like super bright, aggressive tones, the Nameless is so solid. Chris G says, will we see a Meshuggah tone video? Fortin is deeply associated with them, and I think it makes sense to make a vid like that. Also, for me, that would prove that the sky's the limit with these plugins. Yeah, no, Meshuggah's super high on my list. At the same time, I almost feel like it's sort of a cheat to do Meshuggah, because I'm like, just slap Nameless on it, you're good. Like, for reasons that I can't talk about. But yeah, so like Meshuggah is definitely on one. So what I want to do is I want to bring up Meshuggah as an artist tone video very soon. But I don't want to just simply do the Nameless. I actually want to dial in the tone on like the Nolly and the Pliny if I can, and potentially one of the other ones, like maybe NTS. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so Meshuggah is definitely high on my list. That's one, definitely. Adnan says, to get that solid Porcupine Tree and Opeth-esque tone, he loves the Pliny, even the Nameless. I totally agree. That's sort of like modded Marshall-esque kind of tone that both of those have. Like, it's just so solid. Yeah, Michael D says, make a preset of that, Steven. He'd love to try it out. For sure, man. Absolutely. I'll definitely do that. I'll pull up the session and I'll put the presets in. I'm gonna set a reminder for myself to do this, because I will absolutely forget. Because I want to make sure that you got that. Let's see. Okay, so let's do this in a half an hour. Put Delphian presets in folder for Michael D. Okay, so more options. Sorry, you guys. I just want to make sure. I'm a guy who lives and dies by his own calendar. Like, it is so valuable to me, because I have so many plates spinning at once that if I don't like write it down, if I don't write it down, it just goes completely by the wayside. So, awesome. So I'll have that to you in about an hour or so. Let's see. Yeah, and then says Meshuggah tone is so directly achievable with Nameless. I totally agree. Modern Vintage, my dude, what's up? So Modern Vintage says, asks if he missed anything worth mentioning, and hopes that Vegas was great. Vegas was amazing. I had such a great time with Vegas, and I have so many cool things lined up for the channel with artists and producers that I met over the weekend. So I'm so stoked. But if there's anything worth mentioning, I would say that probably the thing is, I spent 30 or 40 minutes talking about iLok and utilizing that, just kind of running through the iLok process, and especially if you don't have an actual iLok dongle, why you actually don't need that to begin with. Because I wanted to address certain pain points that have been raised in the Facebook groups and the YouTube sphere, that people just don't like the iLok, and I get it. But it is also sort of a reality of the business that we have to make sure that our stuff doesn't get pirated. So it's just me running through like the actual process of getting one of our plugins, activating it, getting the iLok or activations into your account, which is actually going to be much easier coming up, because the license activation codes that you get in your email are going away. you're just going to be able to deposit the licenses in your iLok account very soon, and it's already up with the Nolly currently. So yeah, that's generally a sum up of what I went through for this one. Michael D, it's my pleasure. You have a great week. I'll see you in the next Q&A. John Pedley asks, do you reckon a 5150 style amp plugin will be done by you guys? Or has that been covered by possibly one of the amps in the Nolly plugin? I mean, there's definitely a lot of, if you go to the Facebook group, you'll see a bunch of people talking about it, and you could say probably. You know, I get asked pretty often about like the specifics of the amps that are in the plugins, but I can't directly name names, so I can only point you to the people who have already figured it out. And check the Facebook groups for sure. Matthias says, when you combine two plugins like Plini and Nolly, do you just deactivate everything but the IR section of the plugin, of the second plugin in the signal chain? Yes. That's probably one of the coolest aspects of these plugins, is that you can turn off any individual section you want. So yeah, so what I would do is I would have like the pedal section and the amp section active in the first plugin. Then the next plugin is going to be the Nolly for this particular instance. And then I would have the EQ section, the impulse response section, and the effects section active, and deactivate the previous two sections. So that way it's just like combining those two aspects together. Modern Vintage, cool, thanks. Ever consider doing an Yngwie preset? I mean, maybe. I think you're the first person to even mention Yngwie for an Artist Tones video. I don't see it as being out of the question, but it's just a matter of like whether that's a in demand, I suppose. Like the way that I've been scheduling these out tentatively, and this always has to kind of interlock with the release schedule and whatever like the Neural guys want to do, but basically I've been doing the Artist Tone videos every other week, which seems to be doing pretty well on the channel, and people seem to really resonate with it and like it. So if I like, so thinking about demand, like I've been asked like consistently for Gojira video, and then so if I put that off like a week or an episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, that's like a month out. So like having the demand match the schedule is important to me, because I do want to provide what people want to see. So yeah, so Yngwie's not out of the question. I think it would just be a little bit later on down the road when I need to when I get a little bit more demand for that particular for him in particular. Shred, you bring up a really great point. So also there are quite a few different kinds of Meshuggah album tones to go for. Violent, Sleep of Reason, and Nothing sound very different, and I would agree with you wholeheartedly. You know, I don't know if you have the Nolly or if you tried that one, but there's a preset in there that Nolly made called Future Chug Machine or something like that. And if you play it on a 7-string, it sounds exactly like those earlier albums where they were doing 7-string guitar riffs, like Rational Gaze and stuff like that, or Quarter of Chameleons, or New Millennium Cyanide Cry. I fucking love that song, BT dubs. So it's one of my favorites. So Mel Ruddy says maybe we will have to test some ears on which plugin is this. Not easy to do. My favorite was Nolly straight from the box. Nolly is just otherworldly. Yes, I totally agree. So Modern Vintage says, surprised to see Doug posted on Instagram the Axe FX 3 was way better than the Kemper. Confirms what we spoke of last week. I agree. You know, I think that I don't have any experience with either, and To be honest, I really haven't looked into it that much. But yeah, I could see the XFX3 being way better than the Kemper. I do feel like the Kemper is one of those tools that if you don't dial in the tone yourself at the beginning, it's not really going to work for you. It's a very, very personal sort of thing. Like I've heard people doing like Kemper packs and whatever, and just like just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work for other people a lot of the time, unless you have like the same equipment, the same guitars, the same picking style on the right hand sort of thing. So yeah, like I can definitely see that being the case. John Pedley, cheers. Yeah, go check out the Facebook groups. And to all of you, check up on our social media sites as well. Get on our mailing list, because we do, as I mentioned at the forefront of the video, we are going to be doing Black Friday sales. So be sure that you are up to date on all things that we are going to be uploading over the next couple of weeks. Because we're doing some really cool stuff coming up. I can't talk about it. Again, I can't talk about it, but you're going to like it. Yeah, Modern Vintage. So John Frusciante is actually, so he says that John Frusciante would be better than Yngwie, I suppose. Yeah, so I've been thinking about doing a John Frusciante as a lower gain guitarist for sure. Like that's been in my head, and I think that would be a fun one to do. Because yeah, he's liked by so many guitar players. His skills are fantastic. Modern Vintage, Future Chug Machine versus Nameless Tonally. That's a good question, and I think that's probably going to be a good one for the video when I pull it up. Just to illustrate the diversity these plugins have. So yeah, no, that's a really great idea actually. I'll do that. I'll make sure to talk about that when I get to the video. Chris G says, "Oh, I forgot. We need a hardware version of all these plugins, like the new Strymon thingy. That would kill the market for sure." And yeah, no, I definitely would agree. I don't know if that's in the works, but we'll definitely see that. So, all right, it is 2:05, so let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. So if you have any additional questions or anything you want to just shoot the shit with, I will be here for a couple more minutes, and we'll start wrapping this thing up. Like I said, I still have to film after this for the video on Monday. All right. Let's see, where are we at with our stream? Yeah, Shred, Chaosphere fucking rules. I love that album. It's one of the albums that really got me into Meshuggah at the outset. Yeah, it's so good. Well, I mean, if there are no additional questions, I guess I could start wrapping things up. So, awesome. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on the stream. I really enjoy these weekly sessions, and I enjoy getting to talk to you guys and kind of, relay. Oh, Matthias asks, what about a Rabea tone video? Honestly, I would rather just get Rabea in, to work with him, directly. Although, he does have, a bunch of Neural DSP videos on his site. I think what I would want to do with Rabea is actually work on some music with him. I feel like that would be so much more fun and so much more interesting because, like I said, he's got a bunch of videos on his YouTube page where he runs through the plugins individually and how he kind of treats them and would dial them in for different tones. So I think that if I worked with Rabea, I would want to do something a little bit more off the beaten path with him for sure. But yeah, so my dudes, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me on the stream, and yeah, we'll see you in that next video. You all are beautiful human beings, and I'll see you next week. Oops, there we go.